doesn't really have the same effect, does it, when the door's made of glass? Anyway, for some strange reason, I've decided to do Jack's garden again. Don't know why, but here I am, and here you are. So today I'm going to be looking at sowing seeds, specifically tomato seeds at the moment, which are quite a big seed. But I'm also going to look at maybe finer seeds, but I don't have any to show you, but I'm sure I'll think of something. Okay. So these are the seeds that I'm going to be sowing. They're obviously a tomato, a variety called Alicante. They're obviously Thompson and Morgan. I've not tried growing these ones from seed before. I'm sure they'll be just fine. It also says on the back of the packet, as you can see, obviously you're looking at March and April for sowing them. But I don't always like to go off the seed packet, because the seed packet is a general guideline for when to sow them. Obviously the seed packet doesn't know what the weather is doing at that time. So if in March we have snow and ice, I wouldn't advise planting them because it's still too cold. If in February we've got glorious sunshine and it's really warm, like this one, then yes, you can sow them, and I would advise sowing them and getting them in relatively early so that you've got good strong plants. The sooner the better. So what I'm doing here is I've got in my hand, it's a fine seed compost. There's nothing in it, there's no feed, there's no large clumps, it's very fine, as you can see. Obviously you do get the odd one, but if you crumple them up then they obviously go away. But what I'm saying is there's nothing fibrous in there. It is very loose, very fine compost, which is perfect for seeds. So what you need to start to do before you sow your seeds, or before you open the packet, because you don't want to lose any of them, is you want to fill a seed tray. Now I always recommend a seed tray because they're shallower, which means that they warm up faster, which will obviously get your seeds growing again faster. So what I would advise doing is putting them in a seed tray. I would advise against plugs, which I haven't actually got an example to show you because I don't particularly like them, because that's purely because I think they dry out too fast. So you want a nice layer of compost on the bottom. Doesn't have to be too deep, because as soon as the plants are big enough, then you're going to be taking them out of this. This is purely to get them germinated. So you want a nice flat surface, which will help with the watering. And then on the top of that, I would use one of these, which is a griddle. This one comes with different meshes, obviously some finer and obviously some thicker. I would use that if I was sowing something that was particularly fine, like begonia seeds, for example. I'm going to use something like this for the tomato seeds. Now what I would do is just a scoop of that, just on top like that. Just a fine layer. Because when you come to sow your seeds, then it's better that they are sat in a fine layer and they're not sat on any particular clump. So we tear off the top of the packet, and inside, usually 9 times out of 10, there's another little packet inside, and that's hermetically sealed, which, well, Google it. So if you open the packet and you look at the seeds inside, now you'll see, I don't know if you can see, it depends on the work of my camera lady, but if you can see, the seeds are actually quite thick, actually fairly big. You can handle them. So what I would do is, when you've got seeds like this, you can pinch 1 or 2 at a time and space them out you get more control over where you want to put them. So I'm not going to sow too many because I've not got the biggest greenhouse in the world. Pop the rest back in there, not on the floor like I've just done. Turn over the packet, and you might get next year out of them as well if you keep them in a cool, dark place. Whenever you're sowing seeds or whenever you're planting bulbs, what you want to do is always sow them or plant them to twice the depth. So if the bulb or the seed in this case is that big, alright, a very big seed but not a very big bulb, then what you want to do is you want to put that much compost on top of it. Always the depth of the seed or bulb as a general rule of thumb. Obviously you can't get it perfect, nobody expects you to, and the plants certainly won't suffer for it. So once you put the seeds on the surface, again you want to use the same mesh, and again cover them up like that. Keep going, just keep going until you can't see the seeds anymore. And then once you've done that, perhaps one of the most important things is to label them. If you put the date on it, then you can keep track of when it was that you sowed them, and you'll be able to then gauge how long it is since you sowed them and when they start to come through. So I will label that later. I know what they are. Everything else is labelled and they're not, so I know exactly what they are. I'm going to just step outside now to water them. I'm going to put them on the floor outside to water them. You'll notice that I've turned the rows on the watering can upside down. Normally, traditionally, you'll have them that way, but when I'm watering seeds or anything delicate, turn it the other way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start watering the side of the seeds and then move over them like that. Give them a good drink and then move away, because as you can see, when you lift the watering can up, you get large droplets which will wash the seed out. So I'm moving back into the greenhouse again. We're going to put them on a heated tray. Now these what I've got in here at the moment are begonias and 3 lots of different peppers, 2 chili varieties and one sweet. One, as you can see, has come up. It's not ready yet to be transplanted because it is still very young, and I'm still expecting plenty more to come through. These, however, have come through. Again, I won't be transplanting them, but I will be taking them out and putting them after I've finished this. I will be putting a cover over them to keep them protected. Again, give them that extra humidity, because humidity is very important when you're sowing seed or cuttings for that matter. So I will place them in here like that. They've been watered. I won't water them in there because it'll fill up with water. So that just about covers it for now, so we'll jump on to the next part. So that just about wraps up for what I have planned for today. So thank you for bothering to watch it and wasting however many minutes of your life doing so. I hope you've learned something from it. If you did like it and you think it's great, then do what you crazy people do and like it, or whatever it is you want to do. Subscribe maybe, that's a good idea. Subscribing's cool. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you again once the tomatoes have germinated. Bye bye.